Hey guys, what's up? Fallen Zion over here, coming at you with a quick update on the March patch for EVE Online. There was a lot of big changes, and I'm going to go through them all real quick with you, so you don't have to go look them up all yourself. But I basically took a bunch of notes, and I'm going to break it all down for you. So first, we're going to start with the balance changes. The first major balance change was to the battle cruisers, as you can see here. And they've upgraded the cargo capacity by 25%, which means they can hold more cap charges, which would be really nice. They've increased the maximum lock range by 20% as well. So if you MJD, which is micro jump drive, if you micro jump drive away from your enemy, launches you 100 kilometers, you can maintain your lock on your targets, which would be very useful. They also nerfed and buffed some specific cruisers, so we're gonna check that out here. So they finally nerfed the Orthrus. They gave it 100 less power grid, which was much needed because it had tons and tons of fitting room. You could fit like dual props on it. You could fit crazy tank. It just did way too much. Also, they decreased the speed by 15 max velocity. I'm not sure how big a deal that is. And then plus 15 signature radius, making it a little bit easier to hit, which is good. They nerfed the Ferox. I did not see this coming. They gave it 100 less power grid and minus 15 CPU, which I'm not sure if that was needed or not, but it's gonna make the Ferox probably gonna put it out of existence for a little while in EVE Online, because I felt like it was a little underpowered to begin with. They gave a much needed nerf to the Macarial. We've all known that Macarial is like the staple battleship for big fleets. They reduced the large projectile fall-off rate bonus for Galente battleship bonus per level to 7.5% from 10%. So not that huge of a deal, in my opinion, because you're just going to put more tracking enhancers on it and be able to shoot out really far anyway. They give it plus 30 signature radius. I don't think this is a big deal because the thing was already a battleship with a huge sig. They gave plus 1 mid slot and minus 1 low slot. I don't think this is a big deal, but I think this is kind of a big deal. I mean, you could probably just drop the gyro stabilizer, so you do a little bit less damage, but keep your big tank. So I'm not sure how big a deal this is, but I guess we'll see very soon. They buffed, I guess, the Drake Navy issue. When I first looked at it, I was like, okay, they buffed it, but then I saw they took away a launcher slot. So they like buffed it, and then they like nerfed it. So, I don't know, this is like a neutral kind of update. So, they gave it 10% bonus to damage, which was always good. And they changed that from the shield bonus. So, it's less tank, more gank now, which is nice. So, they gave 10% to heavy missile and heavy assault missile per caliber battlecruiser level. So, you can get an overall 40% bonus if you have plus 4 level to battlecruisers, which is cool. But then they gave it 1 less launcher slot, so it means you can't even use one of your launchers anymore, which is interesting. They buffed the Cyclone a little bit, from a 7.5% up 2.5% from 5% for the heavy missile launcher and heavy assault missile launcher rate of fire, which is just giving it a little more damage. They buffed the Eagle, which is really cool because the Eagle has always been, in my opinion, a really solid heavy interdictor cruiser for fleets as far as shield goes, and they gave it a little more speed, a little more drone stuff. I'm not sure how much this is going to come into play, but the speed is always nice to have. They gave a huge buff to the Munin. They increased the medium projectile turret damage from 5% to 7.5% per level. They gave it a little more armor, plus 150 armor HP, which can be really good because once you start stacking the plates on there, this gets amplified by quite a bit. They gave it more speed, so it comes more in line with the whole Minotaur thing, which is being really fast. And less mass, which makes it a lot faster. And especially, you're going to want that speed when you are trying to tackle a Titan or whatever, because you need to get on top of it really quick, because sometimes you don't have a lot of time to get over to your target. Less sig radius, which is good. And then minus 1 high slot, which is totally fine, and plus 1 mid slot. So you have a little bit more utility here, maybe for some more tank. So that would be awesome. Just a little more tank for that guy. Alright, next is introducing the new ship and new ship class. We have the Monitor, which looks really cool. Also a new ship class, which is the flag cruiser. Basically, the Monitor is for fleet commanders only, but I'm sure you can fly it around if you really wanted to. But it's got a huge tank, and it has tons of resistance to target painters and ECM, which is jamming. So you can't get, so the fleet commander can't get jammed and not be able to call out targets appropriately. Because what happens sometimes is that all the Griffins will jam the fleet commander, and once that happens, he can't lock on anything, and he can't see what's dying and what's not. And that's very important to the fleet commander's job. Also, target paints were a big deal because they can just target paint up the fleet commander and then blop him off the field really, really quick. Then he has to go to the secondary fleet commander, which probably doesn't have as much experience as the primary fleet commander. Also, it has a 90% base armor and shield resistance bonus, which is crazy. So that basically means that it is super, super tanky from the get-go. Once you start putting a couple plates on it and a couple resist modules, it's going to be very, very hard to kill. Because it says that its HP is going to be on the levels of command ships, which already have huge HP, basically base HP. If you think of Damnation, it has a very, very high starting HP and very high starting resist because it's a Tech 2 cruiser. The next big change, or not change, is they have not fixed the 500 MN heavy interdictor nullsec speed crazy glitch. In my opinion, it's a glitch. Basically, heavy interdictors can use a 500 MN micro warp drive, and they can activate their bubbles, which is their interdictor bubbles. And if they overheat their MWD and they activate the bubbles at the same time while flying in a certain direction, they will basically become weightless due to the game mechanics, and they can basically accelerate from 0 to 10 kilometers a second really very, very, very quickly and catch things that are supposed to be kiting, like Orthoses, Open Navy issues and stuff like that. So yeah, they get really, really fast really quick, and they're waiting to see what the impact will be on wormholers before they fix it. But I think they're gonna fix it really, really soon because it is a little broken, and I'm saying it's broken because it's definitely caught me and killed me before. All right, next up we have we're already talking about the battle changes. Next, we're going to talk about the sovereignty warfare and jump fatigue changes. So the jump fatigue is a huge, huge change. Basically, we've been waiting for this for a long time. They've reduced basically the maximum jump fatigue, which is the blue timer, from 4. So the max can be is 4 days and 5 hours, and the max that the jump activation timer can be, which is the orange timer, the max that it can be before this change was 9.6 hours, but now they both have a maximum duration of 30 minutes each. This means that you can now cross the entire galaxy in your Titan in a day, which is extremely powerful, and you can also get to large fleet battles a lot quicker without days of pre-planning like it took before. So before, you had to basically plan like 4 or 5 days ahead. Had to move all your dreadnoughts, move all your Titans, move all your supercarriers somewhere close to where the battle is going to happen. But now you can pretty much act on a dime and get all your stuff to the location within 2 hours, or probably even less. Probably within like 15-30 minutes, you can have your entire fleet at a battle. And some of these big fleet battles can last like 30 minutes to an hour, so you can get reinforcements there really quick, which is going to have a huge impact on the game. Next up is the jumping and jump tethering changes, which is really, really interesting because basically what people were doing is the CCP was saying that it was too safe to jump your supercarrier and your dreadnought across your safe Citadel network. So there would now be a delay when jumping to a Citadel. So you must dock immediately if you can to avoid getting tackled by a heavy interdictor cruiser or any kind of frigate or anything, because that could definitely ruin your day. So if you're a dreadnought, you can not dock in Astra Houses, but you can dock in Fortizars and Keepstars. If you're a Titan, you cannot dock in Fortizars or Astra Houses, but you can dock in Keepstars. If you're a jump freighter, you can still dock in the Fort, Keepstar, and Astra House. So keep that in mind if you're going to jump your capital ship to a Sino on a Citadel. Make sure that you can dock in it immediately, or you could be a sitting duck if you don't have your fleet, or if you don't have your corp mates around to help you, in case you get in a sticky situation. Next change is the sovereignty capture and Entosis link changes. This doesn't affect me too much, but I know a lot of people out there play around in nullsec a lot. So basically, what I found the most significant is this significantly reduced max ranges for the Entosis links. So basically what was happening before is people would get into rapiers, which have a very long lock range, and they would be Entosising from like 190 kilometers, and if anything got too close, they would just web them down, and they would just keep Entosising like, you know, nothing was even happening. But now if you have a T1 Entosis module on you, you can only Entosis from 20 kilometers range, and if you have a T2 Entosis, you can only Entosis from 50 kilometers range. So it's going to have a big impact, because whenever you warp to an Entosis, whenever you warp to a beacon, you're going to land like at 0. So now instead of burning 190 kilometers to get to the crazy rapier, that's like Entosising from 190 kilometers, he has to at least be within 50 kilometers. So it gives you and your fleet a better chance of catching him before he can get away, which could end up in a juicy kill mail. And then yep, that's pretty much the biggest change I saw there. There's also a bunch of big little changes to the watch list and to the... Alright, so let's see here. Yeah, so they changed the watch list. You can now color code your watch list. So you can put your fleet commander first. So you can color code your fleet commander into green, put your Logi as like blue, and then put the rest of your like supporting fleet in yellow. And if they're a frigate, you can just make them red, because you don't want to rep them anyway, for the most part. So you can kind of prioritize using colors who you want to rep first. Alright, and then the next change is a small little change where they made that, so if your fleet was locking before, it was like a yellow, just like an enemy, but now they made it purple, so you know it's like your fleet and they're friendly and they're not going to try to kill you. So if your fleet members do attack you, it's going to turn red, just like our enemy would be attacking you. But I'm sure most of the time, if it's turning red, their drones accidentally are attacking you. Especially if they're a logistics cruiser, they'll actually be repping you, and their drones will start attacking you. It's really weird. But usually they'll be able to pull off their drones really quick and then assign them back to the primary enemies. Next cool thing is, whenever your fleet members broadcast, you'll see what kind of ship they're in. So you'll see that, okay, this guy's in an Aeon, this guy's in a Crucifier, so don't rep him because he's a frigate. He shouldn't be broadcasting anyway in a big fleet battle. And then, especially, you can see your Logi here. So you can see, okay, this guy, he might not be, you know, in my direct Logi chain, but he's in a Guardian. I probably need to rep him above all else, because if your Logi dies, then, as we all know, the battle is probably over for your team. Alright, next we have a change to the compare tool, which is really cool. I use this quite frequently. Basically, they removed all the options that were all the same for each type of gun or module or whatever you're using. So if these two have the same mass, they like took that option to compare that mass completely out, which is cool. So they basically decluttered the compare tool a little bit, so you can only compare what is actually different between these. So as we can see here, if we compare these railguns, the optimal range is different on all of them. So we definitely want to see that, because we want to go for the one with the most optimal range or whatnot. And that's about it. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. And I'll be coming at you with a lot more videos. Thanks, guys.